My mother looked me straight in the eye across her perfectly set Thanksgiving table and said the words that would change everything. "There's no room for your kids, honey." My sister's 3 children sat laughing around the table. My brother's 2 boys were already arguing over the wishbone. But my Emma and Jackson? They were sitting in my car in the driveway, eating fast food from paper bags, because according to my mother, her dining room only seated 12, and family priorities had to be respected. I sat at that table for 3 hours, pretending everything was fine, pretending my heart wasn't breaking, pretending I didn't hear my 8-year-old daughter asking through the car window why she couldn't come inside with her cousins. Let me back up. My name is Aiden, and 3 years ago, I divorced my husband Derek. Not because I fell out of love, not because we grew apart, but because I was terrified he was going to kill me. The final straw came on a Tuesday night when he wrapped his hands around my throat over burnt pot roast and didn't let go until I stopped struggling. Emma saw the whole thing. She was 5 years old. I left the next morning with my kids and nothing else. I filed for divorce, got a restraining order, and started rebuilding. I worked as a dental hygienist, picked up every extra shift I could, and slowly created a life where my children could sleep without fear. But my family never understood. To them, Derek was charming. He came from the Wilson family, one of those old money families that everyone in our town knew. His father owned 3 car dealerships. His mother served on every charitable board. They were the kind of people my parents had always wished they could be. When I told my mother about the abuse, she said I was exaggerating. When I showed her the bruises, she said I must have provoked him. When I filed for divorce, she told me I was throwing away a good man over one bad moment. My sister Laura, the successful corporate lawyer with her perfect husband and perfect children, agreed. My brother Greg, who married into money, just shrugged and said marriage was hard for everyone. My father Frank stopped talking to me altogether. So that Thanksgiving, when my mother called to invite me to dinner, I should have known better, but I was lonely. My kids were lonely. We'd been eating microwave dinners and watching movies, just the 3 of us for every holiday. I thought maybe this time would be different. I was wrong. I arrived at my parents' house at 2 in the afternoon. The driveway was already full of cars. I could hear laughter coming from inside. Emma and Jackson were excited, bouncing in their seats. Emma had made a drawing for her grandmother, a crayon masterpiece of our family holding hands. Jackson had practiced a knock-knock joke for 3 days straight. My mother opened the door, took one look at my children, and her smile disappeared. "Oh, Aiden, I thought you were coming alone. You invited us to Thanksgiving dinner. Of course I brought the kids." She glanced over her shoulder, then stepped onto the porch and closed the door behind her. "Honey, I need to be honest. We just don't have room at the table. Laura's 3 are here, and Greg brought his 2 boys, and Beth's sister brought her 4 children. The table's full. I thought you understood." I counted in my head. That was 9 children. My mother's dining room table seated 14 people comfortably. I'd eaten at that table my entire life. "Mom, there's room. I can see through the window." It's not just about physical space, Aiden. It's about, well, family dynamics. The other children have both parents. It's easier, less complicated. And there it was, the real reason. I was the divorced one, the failure, the complication. Emma tugged on my sleeve. "Mom, can we go in now? I'm hungry." My mother looked at Emma with something like pity. "Sweetheart, Grandma's house is very full today. Maybe next time." "But you said." Emma's lower lip started to tremble. I made a decision then. I could fight, I could scream, I could force my way inside and demand space for my children. Or I could protect them from seeing how little their grandmother valued them. "It's okay, baby," I said, picking up Jackson and taking Emma's hand. "Let's go get some real food, just us." My mother looked relieved. "You understand, don't you, honey? I knew you would. You're so reasonable." I drove to a fast food place, got my kids hamburgers and milkshakes, and we ate in the parking lot. Emma was quiet. Jackson asked 3 times why we couldn't eat with everyone else. I told them Grandma's house was being renovated, not enough space, maybe at Christmas. Then I drove back. I don't know why. Maybe I needed to prove to myself that I could sit at that table without my children. Maybe I was still desperate for my family's approval. When I walked back in, my mother's face showed surprise, then satisfaction. She'd won. I'd left my children in the car and come back to take my place at the adult table. Dinner was torture. I sat between my sister and my brother, both of whom barely acknowledged me. Laura spent the entire meal bragging about her husband's promotion to senior partner. Greg talked about the boat they were buying. My mother fawned over every word. My father sat at the head of the table, carving the turkey, not once looking in my direction. "Aiden, how's work?" my mother asked, in that tone people use when they're just being polite. "It's good. I got Employee of the Month last week." "That's nice, dear." She immediately turned to Laura. "Tell everyone about the vacation house you're looking at in the Hamptons." After dinner, I started to leave. My mother stopped me at the door with a container of leftovers. "For the children," she said, as if this made up for everything. I was walking to my car when I heard voices from the kitchen. The window was open. I recognized my mother's voice. "I just can't have those children here. You know how Derek's family might react if they find out we're seeing his kids. He still has so many connections in this town. And honestly, Aiden made her bed with that divorce. The rest of us shouldn't suffer for her choices." Laura's response was even worse. "She's always been dramatic. Remember when she accused Derek of abuse? Please. I've seen abuse cases. That wasn't abuse. That was a marriage having problems." I stood there in the cold November air, holding lukewarm turkey, and understood. This wasn't about space. This was about shame. My family was embarrassed by me. Worse, they were maintaining some kind of relationship with Derek's family, protecting their social connections. I got in my car where my children were waiting. Emma looked at the leftovers and said nothing. Jackson was asleep. I drove home and cried in the shower for an hour. 2 months later, my mother called about Christmas. I'd been avoiding her calls, avoiding everyone. I was working double shifts, trying to save money, trying to give my kids some kind of normal life. The apartment was small, barely 900 square feet, but it was ours. Safe, quiet. "Aiden, sweetheart, I know Thanksgiving was awkward, but Christmas is different. Christmas is for family. Will you come?" I wanted to say no, but Emma had been asking about her grandparents. Her teacher had asked the class to draw their family tree, and Emma had cried because she didn't know if she should include grandparents who never wanted to see her. "Can I bring Emma and Jackson?" There was a pause. "Well, honey, maybe just you this time? It's mostly going to be adults, and you know how the kids get when they're bored. Plus, wouldn't it be nice for you to have some adult conversation? You work so hard. Consider it a break." I should have said no, but I was exhausted. I'd been working 60-hour weeks. My ex-husband Derek was 3 months behind on child support. I'd called his lawyer 5 times and gotten no response. I was barely making rent. The idea of a few hours without responsibility, even at my parents' house, sounded like relief. Okay, just for a little while. Christmas Day, I got up early with the kids. We opened presents. I'd gone into credit card debt to buy them gifts, things I couldn't afford. Emma got the art set she'd been wanting. Jackson got building blocks. They were happy, and that's all that mattered. I left them with my neighbor, Mrs. Patterson, who'd agreed to watch them for a few hours. I drove to my parents' house with an armload of presents for my nieces and nephews. Expensive presents. Another $400 I didn't have. When I walked in, the house was chaos. Children everywhere. I started counting. Laura's 3 kids, Greg's 2. Then I saw more. Greg's wife, Beth's sister, had brought her 4 children. That was 9. But there were more. I counted 13 children total. 13 children, running through the house, opening presents under the tree, sitting on the floor eating cookies. My mother saw my face. "Oh, honey, don't look at me like that. Beth's sister was alone for Christmas. And you know how I am. I can't turn family away. You told me there wasn't room for Emma and Jackson." "That's different. These children have both parents. It's less complicated. Plus, Derek's parents might be stopping by later. You understand." I understood perfectly. Derek's parents. The real reason. Laura appeared then, wearing a designer sweater, holding a glass of wine. "Oh good, Aiden's here. Did you bring those presents?" the kids have been asking. I handed them over and watched my nieces and nephews tear into gifts I'd gone into debt to buy, while my own children sat at home with a neighbor. My father finally acknowledged me. He walked over, scotch in hand, and patted my shoulder. Good to see you're being reasonable about things. Your mother was worried you'd cause a scene. Why would I cause a scene? Well, you know, always so emotional, making accusations. Your mother and I have been thinking that maybe you should consider what Derek's been suggesting about custody. Might be good for the kids to have more stability. My blood went cold. What has Derek been suggesting? Oh, just that maybe a more traditional arrangement. You know, kids need their father, and his family has resources. They could give Emma and Jackson opportunities. He choked me in front of our daughter. My father's face hardened. That's your version. Derek says you've always been unstable. His mother says the same thing. And honestly, Aiden, the way you've been acting, making everyone uncomfortable, maybe they have a point. I needed to use the bathroom. I needed to get away before I started screaming. I excused myself and went upstairs. My childhood bathroom looked exactly the same. Pink wallpaper. The same mirror where I'd practiced my makeup as a teenager. I splashed water on my face and tried to breathe. That's when I heard my mother's voice in the hallway. She was on the phone. Yes, Derek, she's here now. No, the children aren't with her. I made sure of that. I know. You've been very generous with us. Yes, we'll keep encouraging her to reconsider the custody arrangement. Frank's been talking to her about it today. The investment opportunity you mentioned for Frank sounds wonderful. He's very excited. I pressed my ear to the door. I understand this is difficult for you. Not seeing your children on Christmas. But we're working on it. Give us time. She's stubborn, but she'll come around. Oh, the car? Yes, it arrived yesterday. It's beautiful. Diane loves it. We're very grateful. My mother had taken a car from Derek. My father was getting investment opportunities. They were being paid. Paid to isolate me. Paid to pressure me about custody. Paid to turn my own family against me. I walked out of the bathroom. My mother was still in the hallway, phone to her ear. She saw me, and her face went white. I have to go, she said quickly, hanging up. How much? I asked. Aiden, I don't know what you think you heard. How much is Derek paying you? It's not like that. He's just being generous. He knows we're on a fixed income. He's helping family. I'm family. Emma and Jackson are family. And you sold us out for a car and some investment scheme. My father appeared at the top of the stairs. Don't you dare speak to your mother that way. Derek is a good man trying to be part of his children's lives, and you're making it impossible. We're trying to help negotiate a better situation for everyone. You're trying to help him get custody so he can keep paying you. Laura came up the stairs then, annoyed. What's all the yelling? The kids can hear you. Did you know about this? I turned to her. Did you know they're taking money from Derek? Laura shrugged. So what? Derek wants to be a father. You're being difficult. Maybe if you were more cooperative, everyone wouldn't have to work so hard. That's when something in me broke. I started laughing. Hysterical, broken laughter. You think I'm being difficult? He tried to kill me. He terrorized me for 5 years. He made me sleep with a knife under my pillow. Emma has nightmares about him. Jackson flinches when men raise their voices, but I'm being difficult. My mother stepped forward. Why do you always have to cause a scene? This is exactly why we can't include you. You're too volatile. I looked at the three of them. My mother, my father, my sister, people who were supposed to love me, people who were supposed to protect my children. I'm leaving. Oh, come on, Laura said. Don't be so dramatic. Just stay for dinner. Let's all calm down. I walked down the stairs. My brother Greg was in the living room with all the kids. He looked up, confused by the commotion. I walked out the door. I got in my car. I was shaking so hard I could barely put the key in the ignition. My phone buzzed, a text from a number I didn't recognize. Mrs. Patterson asked me to text you. A man in a suit came by asking about the children, said he was a family friend. I didn't let him near them. Thought you should know. Derek's lawyer. He was already building a case. When I got home, there was an envelope taped to my door. Custody modification papers. Derek was suing for full custody. The filing cited my emotional instability, inability to provide adequate housing, and alienation of the children from their father and paternal family. The court date was in 6 weeks. 4 months. That's how long it took for my life to become completely unrecognizable. The custody battle consumed everything. My cheap lawyer, a recent graduate who took the case for almost nothing because that's all I could afford, was trying his best. But Derek had money. Derek had connections. Derek had my family willing to testify against me. I stopped answering my mother's calls. She left voicemails. Aiden, honey, don't shut us out. We're just trying to help. Family is family. We need to talk about what's best for Emma and Jackson. What's best for them? As if she cared. Work became harder. Someone had called my supervisor with concerns about my professionalism. I'd never been anything but professional, but suddenly I was on probation. Every move watched. Every mistake noted. My car died completely in March. The transmission went out. Fixing it would cost $2,000 I didn't have. I started taking the bus to work, 2 hours each way. I left before my kids woke up and got home after they were asleep. Emma's behavior at school changed. Her teacher called me in for a conference. Emma had stopped talking to the other kids. She'd stopped turning in homework. When they asked her to draw a picture of her family, she drew 3 people on one side of the page and everyone else on the opposite side, with a giant black line between them. Jackson started having meltdowns, screaming, crying, throwing things. The school counselor suggested evaluation for behavioral disorders. I knew it wasn't a disorder. It was trauma. But I couldn't afford therapy. I could barely afford groceries. My landlord called in late March. Someone had contacted him with concerns about my tenancy. He gave me 30 days' notice to move out. He was apologetic but firm. He couldn't have instability in his building. I started looking for apartments. Every application was denied. My credit was bad. My income wasn't enough. And I suspected Derek's family was making calls, using their connections to blacklist me. I was packing boxes one night, trying to figure out where we'd go, when I broke down. Complete breakdown. I sat on my bedroom floor surrounded by half-packed boxes and sobbed. I was losing. Derek was winning. My family had helped him win. I thought about giving up, just signing the papers, letting Derek have custody. At least then Emma and Jackson would have a house, food, stability, even if they'd be living with someone who hurt their mother. That's when my phone rang. A number I hadn't seen in 2 years. Aiden? It's Brielle, from college. Brielle Chen, my college roommate. We'd lost touch after graduation. I saw your sister's Facebook post about the custody battle. I wanted to reach out. Are you okay? Do you need help? I couldn't speak. I just cried. Listen to me, Brielle said. Come to Portland. I have a house. My husband and I have plenty of room. I know people who need a dental hygienist. You can start over. Get away from all of them. I can't. The custody case. If I leave the state. Then fight. But if you win, come here. Get out of that town. Those people are toxic. We talked for an hour. It was the first time in months someone had been kind to me without wanting something in return. 3 days before I was supposed to be out of my apartment, I found a place. A tiny 2-bedroom in a rough neighborhood. Drug deals on the corner, sirens at night, but it was all I could afford. I told Jackson we were moving on an adventure. I told Emma it would be temporary. She looked at me with those wise 8-year-old eyes and said, Nothing's been temporary since Dad left. I started packing in earnest. Clothes, toys, whatever we could fit. I called Brielle and told her if I won custody, I was taking her up on the offer. I was getting out. Then, 2 days before the move, the sheriff came to my door. Emergency custody hearing. Derek had filed a motion claiming I was planning to kidnap the children and flee the state. Someone had told him about my conversations with Brielle. The hearing was the next day. If I left now, if I went to Portland, I'd lose custody automatically. Derek would win by default. I was trapped. That night, I listened to a voicemail from my mother. In it, I could hear Jackson's voice in the background. My mother had called while I was at work, and Jackson had answered my phone. Moving to Aunt Brielle's house, Jackson's innocent voice said, My mother had called Derek immediately after. My own mother had trapped me. The emergency hearing was on a Friday morning. I called in sick to work, risking my job. My lawyer met me at the courthouse. He looked exhausted. I'm not going to lie to you, Aiden. This doesn't look good. Derek has 3 lawyers now. His family hired a firm. They have your parents' statements. They have reports from your landlord. your workplace, the school counselor. It looks like you're unstable and trying to run. I was trying to start over. The judge won't see it that way. We walked into the courtroom. Derek sat at the defendant's table in a perfect suit. His lawyers looked like they'd walked out of a legal drama. Expensive haircuts, designer briefcases. The judge was an older woman, Judge Catherine Walsh. She looked tired, like she'd seen too many of these cases. Derek's lead lawyer stood up. Your Honor, we're here today because Miss Aiden Thompson has demonstrated a pattern of instability and flight risk. She's been evicted from her apartment. She's on probation at work. Her children are struggling in school, and we have evidence she was planning to leave the state with the children, violating the custody agreement. That's not true, my lawyer said weakly. We have phone records, conversations about moving to Portland, conversations about getting away from family. Your Honor, Mr. Wilson is a concerned father who only wants stability for his children. Then they called witnesses. Derek's mother, Patricia, went first. Perfectly coiffed hair, pearl necklace. She talked about how Derek was a devoted father, how I'd always been troubled, how she'd tried to help but I'd pushed everyone away. Then my father. He testified that I'd been difficult my whole life, that I made poor choices, that the family was concerned about my mental state. Then my mother. She actually cried on the stand. I'm so worried about those babies. Aiden won't let anyone help. She's so angry all the time. Derek has been nothing but kind, trying to help support us so we could support her, but she won't listen. My lawyer tried to object. Judge Walsh overruled him. Then it was my turn. I stood up. I had nothing left to lose. No more dignity to protect. No more family to disappoint. I told the truth. All of it. I talked about the night Derek choked me. I showed the judge medical records I'd been too ashamed to include before. A broken wrist from 2 years before our divorce. 3 cracked ribs. A concussion. I talked about the money. The car Derek bought my mother. The investment opportunity for my father. How my family had been paid to isolate me. I showed text messages. Derek threatening me. Derek saying he'd take the kids and I'd never see them again. Derek saying he had enough money to destroy me. I cried. Ugly, broken crying. I didn't try to hide it. They want you to think I'm unstable. Maybe I am. Maybe years of abuse and having my own family turn on me has made me unstable. But I love my children. I protect my children. And everything I've done, every hard choice, has been to keep them safe from a man who hurt me while my daughter watched. The courtroom was silent. Judge Walsh looked at me for a long moment. Then she looked at Derek. Mr. Wilson, can you explain these medical records? Derek's lawyer jumped up. Your Honor, those injuries were never proven to be. I'm asking Mr. Wilson. Derek shifted in his seat. They were accidents. Aiden was always clumsy. I tried to help her. A broken wrist, 3 cracked ribs, and a concussion. All accidents. Yes, Your Honor. Judge Walsh looked at the medical records again, then at Derek's lawyers, then at my parents sitting in the gallery. I'm not making a ruling today. I'm ordering a full investigation. Court-appointed child psychologists will interview both children separately. Financial audits of both parties. Background checks. And I want to see documentation of any money that changed hands between Mr. Wilson and the Thompson family. Derek's lawyer started to object. Furthermore, Judge Walsh continued, I'm granting temporary custody to Miss Thompson. Mr. Wilson will have supervised visitation only until this investigation is complete. And Mr. Wilson will immediately pay 3 months of back child support plus Miss Thompson's legal fees to date. My lawyer grabbed my arm, shocked. This court is adjourned. I walked out of the courthouse in a daze. My phone rang immediately. My mother, I didn't answer. Then another call. A number I didn't recognize. I almost didn't answer that either. Hello? Is this Aiden Thompson? Yes. My name is Tracy Wilson. I'm Derek's first wife. I stopped walking. What? He was married before you. For 3 years. It ended badly. Very badly. I saw your name in the court filings, public record. I had to call. Why? Because he did the same thing to me. The abuse, the custody battle, he turned my family against me. I lost my daughter. She lives with him now. I haven't seen her in 4 years. I couldn't breathe. But I have evidence, recordings, documents, Proof of his pattern? I was too broken to use it back then. But you can. Let me help you. Let me make sure he doesn't do to your children what he did to mine. Tracy Wilson met me at a coffee shop 3 days after the emergency hearing. She was 38 years old and looked 50. Thin, tired, with eyes that had seen too much. She brought a box. This is everything. Recordings of him admitting to abuse, admitting he lied in court, admitting he paid off my family, medical records, police reports I was too scared to follow through on, text messages where he describes exactly how he manipulates the system. I stared at the box. Why didn't you use this? I was broken. My daughter was 5 when he got custody. He convinced everyone I was crazy. My own mother testified against me. By the time I was strong enough to fight again, too much time had passed. My daughter doesn't even remember me now. She thinks I abandoned her. Tracy wiped her eyes. But you can use it. These show a pattern. Judges care about patterns. This proves Derek does this. He's a serial abuser who uses the courts and his money to keep control. I can't afford a better lawyer. I can help with that, too. Tracy connected me with an attorney named Sharon Hayes. Sharon specialized in abuse cases. She'd been doing this for 20 years and had seen everything. She took my case pro bono after reviewing Tracy's evidence. This is solid, Sharon said, spreading the documents across her desk. We can win this. We can bury him. For the first time in months, I felt hope. The court investigation took 6 weeks. It was invasive and terrifying. Court-appointed psychologists interviewed Emma and Jackson separately. They asked them about their home life, about their father, about what they'd seen. Emma told them about the night Derek choked me. She told them she had nightmares about it. She told them she didn't feel safe with her father. Jackson, only 6 years old, told them he remembered yelling and breaking things. He told them his daddy scared him. The financial audit found everything. Derek had paid my father $15,000, labeled as an investment opportunity in a business deal that didn't exist. He'd bought my mother a $35,000 car. The payments were documented, traced, proven. Derek's world started crumbling. His employer, a prestigious law firm where he worked as a corporate attorney, launched their own investigation. Having a partner involved in witness tampering and potential custody fraud was a liability. Derek was put on administrative leave. His parents tried to distance themselves. They claimed they didn't know about the payments to my parents. They claimed Derek acted alone, but their reputation in town was damaged. People talked. My life improved slowly, painfully. Brielle flew out from Portland to sit with me during depositions. She held my hand. She reminded me I wasn't alone. Sharon fought hard. She filed motions. She deposed my parents. She deposed Derek's parents. She built a case so solid that Derek's expensive lawyers started backing away. Emma and Jackson started therapy with a counselor Sharon recommended who worked on a sliding scale. The therapist said they were resilient. Traumatized, but resilient. They just want stability, she told me. They want to feel safe. They want to know you're not going anywhere. I promised them I wasn't going anywhere ever again. My new landlord was understanding about the late rent. The investigation had made the local news. People knew my story now. Some judged me, but some helped. My neighbor brought groceries. A coworker gave me her old car when she upgraded. Small kindnesses that made survival possible. Then came the final custody hearing. 3 months after the emergency hearing, Sharon was confident. They have nothing. The investigation found everything we said it would. The kids are clear. The evidence is overwhelming. Derek's legal team knows they're going to lose. The hearing took all day. Sharon presented everything. The medical records, the police reports, the financial documents. Tracy's recordings where Derek admitted, in his own voice, exactly how he manipulated his first custody case. Derek's lawyers tried to paint Tracy as bitter and me as vindictive. They claimed the recordings were taken out of context. They claimed the payments to my parents were innocent gifts. Judge Walsh wasn't buying it. At 4 p.m, she made her ruling. I've reviewed all the evidence presented. I've read the psychological evaluations. I've examined the financial records. And I've listened to testimony from multiple witnesses. This court finds that Mr. Derek Wilson has engaged in a pattern of abuse, manipulation, and witness tampering. The evidence is overwhelming and disturbing. Derek's face went white. Therefore, I am awarding full legal and physical custody of Emma Wilson and Jackson Wilson to their mother, Aiden Thompson. Mr. Wilson will have supervised visitation only 2 hours per week to be arranged through a court-approved facility. He will complete anger management courses and parenting classes before any expansion of visitation is considered. He will pay all back child support, totaling $18,000 plus penalties. He will pay Miss Thompson's legal fees. And he will pay for the children's therapy. Sharon squeezed my hand. Furthermore, I am issuing a restraining order preventing any member of the Wilson family from contacting any member of the Thompson family regarding custody matters without court approval. Any violation will result in contempt charges. Judge Walsh looked directly at my parents in the gallery. This court is deeply troubled by the evidence of family members accepting money to testify against a victim of abuse. While this court cannot bring criminal charges, it can and will note this behavior in the record. My mother started crying. This hearing is adjourned. I walked out of that courthouse with full custody of my children. I walked out free. I walked out victorious. Sharon hugged me. You did it. You're safe now. Tracy was waiting outside. She hugged me too. I'm so glad you won. So glad. I couldn't have done it without you. Save those babies. That's all that matters. I went home to Emma and Jackson. They were with Brielle at my apartment. When I walked in, they looked at me with worried faces. We're staying together, I said. Forever. The judge said so. Emma burst into tears. Jackson jumped into my arms. Brielle smiled. That night, after the kids were asleep, I sat on my couch and finally breathed. My phone rang. My mother. I stared at it. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail. Aiden, please. We need to talk. Your father had a stroke last week. We need help. Laura won't return our calls. She's furious about the court testimony. Greg sent us a letter saying we're toxic and he's cutting us off. We have no one. Please. Can we see you? Can we meet the children? We're sorry. We're so sorry. Please call us back. I listened to the message 3 times. Then I deleted it. 2 weeks later, I gave notice at my dental office. Brielle's friend had a position open in Portland. Better pay, better benefits. A fresh start. I packed up the apartment, sold what we didn't need, bought 3 plane tickets. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell anyone except Sharon, Tracy, and Brielle. Emma asked if we'd see Grandma before we left. Not this time, baby. Will we ever see her again? I don't know. Maybe. Someday. If she earns it. We flew to Portland on a Tuesday morning. Emma and Jackson pressed their faces against the airplane window, watching our town disappear below us. A new life was waiting. Portland was everything I needed. Brielle's house was in a quiet neighborhood with trees lining the streets and kids playing on the sidewalks. She and her husband Marcus lived in a 4-bedroom craftsman with a big backyard. They insisted we take the entire 2nd floor until we found our own place. Stay as long as you need, Brielle said. Seriously, we have the space. Space. That word meant something different now. The dental practice where I started working was bright and modern. My coworkers were kind. My boss, Dr. Patterson, was a woman in her 50s who'd built the practice from nothing after her own divorce. I know what it's like to start over, she told me on my first day. You've got support here. Emma and Jackson enrolled in school. Good schools, where teachers actually cared. Emma's new teacher called after the first week just to say Emma was doing great, making friends, seemed happy. Jackson's behavioral problems disappeared almost immediately. Turned out he didn't have a disorder. He'd been living in constant stress. Remove the stress, remove the behavior. We went to therapy every week. All 3 of us. Sometimes together, sometimes separately. The therapist helped Emma process what she'd seen. Helped Jackson understand it wasn't his fault. Helped me forgive myself. You protected them, the therapist said. That's what matters. You got them out. 3 months after moving, we found our own apartment. Nothing fancy. 2 bedrooms, 900 square feet, but it was in a safe neighborhood with a park across the street. Emma and Jackson each got their own room for the first time ever. I started dating someone. His name was Ben, and he was a teacher at Jackson's school. We met at a parent-teacher conference. He asked me to coffee. I said no 3 times before saying yes. Ben was patient. Kind. He didn't push. When I told him about Derek, about everything, he listened without judgment. "You're incredibly strong," he said. "Your kids are lucky to have you." I don't feel strong. Strong people never do. Life became normal. Beautifully, wonderfully normal. We had routines. Pancakes on Saturday mornings, movie nights on Fridays. Emma joined an art class. Jackson played soccer. I went to work, came home, made dinner. Simple things. My mother called every 2 weeks. Same message. "Please talk to us. Please let us see the children. We're sorry. We made mistakes." I never called back. Then Tracy called one day with news. Derek got arrested. What? Assault? He was dating someone new. She filed charges. He grabbed her by the throat in a restaurant. There were witnesses. My hands shook. Is she okay? She's fine. Scared but fine. She's pressing charges. And get this, his first daughter, my daughter, she reached out to me. She's 16 now. She found me on social media. She wants to talk. Tracy started crying. She said she always wondered about me. She said Derek told her I didn't want her, but she never believed it. She found the court records. She saw what he did. She wants to know her mother. Tracy, that's amazing. It's because of you. Because you fought. Because you won. She saw that someone finally stood up to him and won. It gave her permission to question everything he told her. Tracy's daughter moved in with her 2 months later. Derek's custody was revoked. He was facing criminal charges. His law license was under review. Everything he'd built through manipulation and money was collapsing. Meanwhile, my life in Portland flourished. Brielle became the sister I'd always needed. Her husband Marcus taught Jackson how to ride a bike. Their kids and my kids became inseparable. We built a chosen family. 6 months after moving, Thanksgiving was approaching. Brielle invited us to celebrate with them. I'm doing a big dinner, inviting friends. It's going to be chaotic and loud and perfect. Say you'll come. We wouldn't miss it. I thought about last Thanksgiving, my kids eating fast food in the car. My mother's words. There's no room for your kids, honey. This Thanksgiving would be different. 3 days before Thanksgiving, my mother called again. This time, I answered. Aiden. Oh, thank God. I've been calling for months. What do you want, Mom? I want to apologize. Your father and I, we made terrible mistakes. We were wrong. So wrong. We'd like to make it right. Can we please visit? Can we please see Emma and Jackson? We're their grandparents. We've missed so much. Why now? She was quiet for a moment. Laura hasn't spoken to us in 8 months. She's ashamed of what we did. Greg sent us a certified letter saying he never wants to see us again. Your father's health is bad. Another stroke last month. We're alone, Aiden. We have no one. You had me. You had my children. You chose Derek's money over us. I know. Please. We'll do anything. We'll come to Portland. We'll apologize to the kids. We'll spend whatever time you'll give us. Please. Family is family. Family is family, I repeated. You're right. Let me think about it. Really? Oh, Aiden, thank you. Thank you so much. We'll make it right. I promise. I hung up. Brielle was in the kitchen. She'd heard everything. What are you going to do? I don't know yet. Part of me wants to slam the door in their faces. Part of me thinks Emma and Jackson deserve to know their grandparents, even flawed ones. What does your gut say? My gut said they didn't deserve forgiveness. They'd sold me out. They'd testified against me. They'd taken blood money and tried to help Derek steal my children. But my gut also said I wasn't like them. I didn't exclude people. I didn't withhold love as punishment. I need to think about it. I spent 3 days thinking about my mother's request. I talked to my therapist. I talked to Sharon, my lawyer. I talked to Tracy, who'd been through this same decision with her own family. Don't do it for them, Tracy said. If you do it for you, for your peace. But you don't owe them anything. Emma overheard me talking to Brielle about it. She was 9 now, getting older, understanding more. Mom, do Grandma and Grandpa want to visit? Yes, baby, they do. Why didn't they before? It's complicated. Do they love us? That question broke my heart. I think they do, but they made very bad choices. They hurt us. They helped people who hurt us. But people can change, right? That's what my teacher says. Sometimes people change. Sometimes they don't. Do you think they changed? I don't know yet. Emma was quiet for a moment. I think we should see them. Not because they deserve it, but because I want to know if they changed. And if they didn't, at least we'll know. My 9-year-old daughter was wiser than me. I called my mother back. You can visit. Thanksgiving Day. But there are rules. Anything. Absolutely anything. You don't get to be alone with the kids. You don't get to make excuses or minimize what you did. If I say the visit is over, it's over. And if you ever contact Derek or his family about my children again, you'll never see us again. Do you understand? Yes, I understand. Thank you, Aiden. Thank you so much. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for Emma and Jackson. They deserve to decide if they want grandparents in their lives. My parents flew to Portland 2 days before Thanksgiving. I didn't pick them up from the airport. They got a hotel. I agreed to meet them for coffee first, without the kids, to set ground rules. We met at a coffee shop near Brielle's house. My parents looked older. My father had lost weight. His left side was still weak from the stroke. My mother had gray hair now, lines around her eyes. I didn't remember. They looked small, diminished. Aiden, my mother said, reaching for my hand. I pulled it back. Let's be clear about why we're here. You want access to my children. I'm allowing it, once, to see if you've actually changed or if you're just lonely because everyone else abandoned you. My father flinched. We deserve that. We know we do. Tell me what happened after the custody hearing. My mother wiped her eyes. Laura called us that night. She was furious. She said she was ashamed to be related to us. She said we were morally bankrupt. She hasn't spoken to us since. Greg sent a letter through his lawyer saying he was cutting all contact. He said what we did was unforgivable and he didn't want his children knowing we existed. And Derek? My father looked down. Derek was arrested. It was in the news. Everyone in town knows what he did. They know we helped him. They know we took money. We can't go to church anymore. Our friends stopped calling. Your mother had to quit her volunteer positions because people didn't want her there. You're social pariahs. Yes, my mother whispered. We are. And we deserve it. We took money from a man who abused you. We testified against you. We tried to help him take your children. There's no excuse. None. Why did you do it? My father finally spoke up. Pride. Status. We were always so worried about what people thought. Derek's family was respected. You were divorced, struggling. We were embarrassed. And then Derek offered to help us financially, and it felt good to be included in their world. We told ourselves we were doing what was best, but we were lying. We were protecting ourselves and our reputation. You sold me out. Yes, my mother said. We did. And we'll regret it for the rest of our lives. We sat in silence. I don't forgive you, I said. I don't know if I ever will. But Emma wants to meet you. So you'll come to Thanksgiving dinner tomorrow. You'll meet my chosen family. You'll see how good life can be when you surround yourself with people who actually love you. And if you pass that test, maybe we'll talk again. Maybe. Thank you, my father said. That's more than we deserve. Thanksgiving Day arrived. Brielle went all out. The dining room table stretched with extra leaves. She'd invited everyone. Her parents, Marcus's sister and her family. 2 couples from the neighborhood. Her friend from work and his husband. Tracy and her daughter flew in from California. 15 adults, 8 children. The house was chaos and noise and laughter. My parents arrived at 3. They brought gifts for Emma and Jackson. Expensive gifts, trying to buy affection. Emma looked at the American Girl doll and the huge Lego set and said, "Thank you," polite but distant. Jackson hid behind me. Brielle's parents, warm and kind, introduced themselves. "We're so glad you could join us. Aiden and the kids are family to us now." My mother's face tightened, but she smiled. "That's wonderful. We're grateful they have such good people in their lives." Dinner was beautiful chaos. Too many people, not enough chairs, kids sitting on laps and on the floor. The table overflowed with food. Turkey and ham and 3 kinds of potatoes and more pies than we could eat. During dinner, Brielle's father asked everyone to share what they were grateful for. Emma said, "I'm grateful we're safe now." Jackson said, "I'm grateful for my new friends." I said, "I'm grateful for second chances and chosen family." When it was my mother's turn, she started crying. I'm grateful Aiden gave us this chance. We don't deserve it. We know we don't. But we're grateful. After dinner, while kids played and adults talked, Emma approached my parents. Why didn't you want us before? My mother looked stricken. My father couldn't meet Emma's eyes. We made terrible mistakes, my mother said. We were selfish and cowardly. We hurt you and your mother. We're so sorry. Mom says you helped bad people. We did. We helped someone who hurt your mother. That was wrong. Emma studied them for a long moment. Are you going to do it again? No. Never. We promise. Okay, I'm going to go play now. And she ran off, leaving my parents sitting there. Later, as they were leaving, my mother asked, Can we visit again? Maybe. I need to talk to the kids, see how they feel. This isn't about you, it's about them. Of course. Whatever you think is best. After they left, Brielle asked how I felt. Honestly, nothing. I don't feel angry anymore. I don't feel hurt. I just feel nothing. They're strangers who happen to share my DNA. Is that a bad thing? No, it's freeing. I don't need them to validate me. I don't need their approval. I have everything I need right here. 3 days later, my mother called. Aiden, thank you so much for Thanksgiving. It meant the world to us. We'd love to come back for Christmas. We could bring more gifts, spend more time with the kids. I thought about it. I thought about Emma's question. Are you going to do it again? I thought about my new life, my peace, my safety. Mom, I appreciate you coming for Thanksgiving, but I need to be honest. The kids need stability and consistency, and I don't trust you yet, maybe not ever. So here's what I can offer. We'll do video calls, once a month. You can see the kids, talk to them, be in their lives from a distance. And if you show up consistently, without asking for more, without making demands, without trying to guilt us, then maybe next year we'll talk about more visits. But Christmas is in a few weeks, surely. Mom, take what I'm offering or don't, but I'm not negotiating. She was quiet. Then, okay, video calls, once a month. Thank you. We hung up. Emma asked that night if Grandma was mad. I think she's disappointed, but that's okay. She doesn't get to decide how this goes. We do. I'm glad we met them. But I like our family here better. Me too, baby. Me too. 6 months passed. My parents kept their word. Monthly video calls. They didn't push. They didn't make demands. Slowly, very slowly, Emma and Jackson started to warm to them. Grandma sent me a birthday card, Emma said in March, with a $20 bill. That's nice. It said, she's proud of me. Is she allowed to be proud of me? If you want her to be. Things with Ben got serious. He met Emma and Jackson properly, not as Jackson's teacher, but as my boyfriend. They liked him. He was patient and kind and didn't try too hard. I like Ben, Jackson said one night. He's not scary. That broke my heart and healed it at the same time. Work went well. I got a raise. Dr. Patterson made me office manager. You've earned it. You're reliable, skilled, and the patients love you. Tracy's relationship with her daughter grew stronger. They were healing together, making up for lost time. Derek's life continued its downward spiral. The assault charges stuck. He lost his law license. His parents stopped speaking to him. His daughter refused to see him. Karma was real. Summer came. Emma turned 10. We had a party at the park. 20 kids running around. Brielle's family, Ben, my new coworkers. A real celebration. My mother called that night. I saw the pictures on Facebook. It looked like a wonderful party. It was. I wish we could have been there. Maybe next year. If we're all in a good place, we'll be here, waiting, whenever you're ready. I realized something then. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't hurt. I'd simply moved on. My parents were becoming peripheral characters in a story where they used to be main players. They didn't matter as much as they used to, and that was okay. Thanksgiving came around again. A full year since that horrible day when my mother said there was no room for my kids. Brielle was hosting again. Bigger this time. More friends. More chosen family. The house was bursting with people and laughter. 2 days before Thanksgiving, my mother called. I knew what she was going to ask. Aiden, honey, I know it's last minute, but your father and I were wondering, could we possibly come for Thanksgiving? We've done the video calls every month. We've respected your boundaries. We'd love to see the children in person. Love to be part of the celebration. I looked around my apartment, at the life I'd built, at the family I'd chosen, at the peace I'd created. Mom, I appreciate that you've kept your word about the video calls. I do. But here's the thing. My table is full. Brielle's house is packed. We have 15 adults and 10 kids coming. There's literally no physical room. We could squeeze in. We don't mind. We'll sit anywhere. It's not just about physical space, Mom. Silence on the other end of the line. You see, I've learned something this year. Family isn't about blood. It's not about obligation. It's about showing up. It's about protecting the people you love. It's about making room, even when it's inconvenient, because that's what love does. We want to show up now. We want to make room. I know you do. Now. Now that everyone else has abandoned you, now that you need us. But where were you when I needed you? Where were you when Emma and Jackson needed you? You took money from my abuser. You testified against me. You tried to help him take my children. And now you're lonely, and you want forgiveness. You want access. You want to be part of this beautiful life I built without you. My mother was crying. Please, Aiden. We're your parents. Family is family. I took a deep breath. This was the moment, the exact reversal, the complete circle. Mom, do you remember what you told me last Thanksgiving when I showed up with my kids? I said there wasn't room. You said, "There's no room for your kids, honey." Do you remember what that felt like for me, hearing my own mother say there was no room for my children at the family table? Do you remember how I sat in that car, watching my babies eat fast food while their cousins were inside? Yes, I remember. I'm so sorry. Good. Remember that feeling. Because right now, Mom, there's no room. Aiden, there's no room at my table. There's no room in my Thanksgiving. You taught me about limited space and priorities. You taught me that some people don't earn a seat at the table. I learned that lesson very well. When? She could barely speak through crying. When will there be room for us again? I thought about it. Really thought about it. I don't know, Mom. Maybe never. Maybe someday. But that's my choice now. You taught me that family priorities have to be respected. Well, my priority is protecting my children and protecting our peace. You're not a danger to us anymore, but you're not a necessity either. We're okay without you. Better than okay. We're happy. But we're your parents. No. You're the people who raised me. That's biology. But family? Family is the people who show up. Family is Brielle, who gave us a home when we had nowhere to go. Family is Tracy, who gave me the evidence I needed to win. Family is Sharon, who fought for us. Family is Marcus and Dr. Patterson and Ben and all these people who chose to love us when you chose Derek's money. My mother was sobbing now. Please, please, we'll do anything. There's nothing to do, Mom. This isn't about punishment. It's about reality. You made choices. Choices have consequences. You chose social status over your daughter. You chose money over your grandchildren. And now you're lonely because everyone else made the same calculation about you. Laura and Greg looked at what you did and decided you weren't worth keeping around. They made the same choice you made about me. That's cruel. No, Mom. Cruel is telling a single mother fighting for survival that there's no room for her children at Thanksgiving. Cruel is taking money from an abuser. Cruel is testifying against your own daughter in a custody battle. I'm not being cruel. I'm being boundaried. There's a difference. So that's it? You're cutting us off forever? I'm not cutting you off. I'm just not prioritizing you. The video calls can continue. Maybe next year we'll talk about a visit. Maybe in a few years, if you prove you're trustworthy, you can be part of our lives again. But it will be on my terms. On Emma and Jackson's terms. Not yours. That's more than we deserve. Yes, it is. Because unlike you, I believe in second chances. But I also believe in consequences. You don't just get a seat at my table because you're sorry. You don't get access to my children because you're lonely. You earn it. Through actions, not words. Through showing up consistently, not just when it's convenient. I could hear my father in the background, asking what was happening. I have to go, Mom. I have pies to make. I have a family to celebrate with. A family that chose me. A family that makes room. Aiden? Wait. Happy Thanksgiving, Mom. I hung up. Emma walked into the kitchen. She'd heard everything. Was that Grandma? Yes. Is she coming for Thanksgiving? No, baby, she's not. Are you sad? I thought about it. Was I sad? No. I felt free, powerful, at peace. No, honey, I'm not sad. I'm grateful. For what? For you, for Jackson, for this life we built, for learning who my real family is. Emma hugged me. I'm grateful for you too, Mom. You keep us safe. Always, baby. Always. Thanksgiving Day was perfect. Absolute chaos. Kids everywhere. Adults talking over each other. Food covering every surface. Brielle's dad told the same terrible jokes he told every year. Marcus's sister's kids taught Emma and Jackson a complicated hand game. Ben helped in the kitchen, comfortable and easy. Tracy and her daughter sat next to me at dinner. Thank you, Tracy whispered. For fighting, for winning. You changed both our lives. During the gratitude sharing, I said, I'm grateful for boundaries, for chosen family, and for the strength to know my worth. Emma said, I'm grateful we found our real family. Jackson said, I'm grateful for pie. Everyone laughed. After dinner, I stood in the kitchen helping clean up. I looked through the doorway at my children, safe and happy, surrounded by people who truly loved them. I thought about the journey, the abuse, the divorce, the custody battle, the betrayal, the fight, the victory. I thought about my mother's voice on the phone. There's no room for your kids, honey. And my response, there's no room for you, Mom. Full circle. Perfect symmetry. Justice. But more than that, it wasn't about revenge. It wasn't about punishment. It was about learning my worth. Learning that I didn't need my parents' approval to be a good mother. That I didn't need their presence to have a family. That I could build something better than what I'd lost. I'd built a life on my own terms. A table with room for everyone who mattered. A family that chose each other. And, if my parents ever earned their way back, it would be because they'd changed. Because they'd proven themselves. Because they'd shown they could make room in their hearts the way I'd always needed them to. But even if they never did, I'd be okay. We'd be okay. Because I'd learned the most important lesson of all. You can't force people to love you the right way. You can't make people show up. All you can do is protect yourself and your children. Build a life worth living, and surround yourself with people who know how to love. My phone buzzed. A text from my mother. I understand. We'll wait. We love you. I didn't respond. I put my phone away and went back to my family. My chosen family. My real family. Emma ran up to me. Mom, can we play that game now? The one Aunt Brielle taught us? Absolutely, baby. As we played, laughing and silly and happy, I realized something. I'd won. Not just the custody battle, not just my freedom from Derek, but something bigger. I'd won myself back. I'd won my peace. I'd won my power. And nobody, not Derek, not my parents, not anyone, could ever take that away from me again. The greatest revenge wasn't cruelty. It was living well. It was being happy. It was showing everyone who doubted me, who'd betrayed me, who'd tried to destroy me, that I didn't need them, that I could thrive without them, that I was strong enough to build a beautiful life from ashes. I looked at my children, safe, happy, loved. I looked at my friends, present, supportive, real. I looked at my life, hard-won, self-built, mine, and I smiled, because my table was full. My heart was full. My life was full. And there was absolutely no room for people who'd once made me feel like I didn't matter. I mattered. My children mattered. Our peace mattered. And that was all that mattered. I'm curious to know what you think. If you were in my position, would you have let your parents back into your life? Do you believe people can truly change after betraying you so deeply? Or do you think some actions are simply unforgivable, and protecting your peace means keeping toxic people out, even if they're family? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future stories. Share this with someone who might need to hear it. Someone who's struggling with family boundaries or fighting their own battles. Sometimes knowing you're not alone makes all the difference. Thank you so much for listening to my story. I hope it reminded you that you're stronger than you think, that chosen family is just as valid as blood family, and that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is protect your peace, even when it's hard. Take care of yourselves. Remember that you deserve people who make room for you. Always. Until next time.